Hello students. Today we are going to start with the non-food crops that we will be doing rubber. At the same time we are also doing fiber crops. Apart from that, we will also be studying about what initiatives the government has taken to uplift agriculture sector and what is the impact of globalization on agriculture. At the end, I have also given you the revision questions and the map work, so please do those work. Now we come to non-food crops. The first one we have in this is rubber. Rubber is mainly an equatorial crop but also grown in tropical and subtropical areas under specific conditions. What is the temperature required? It is a tree of a tropical forest and require a constant high temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Thus, the rubber tree cannot be grown at high altitude. Let us come to the next segment, that is rainfall. It needs heavy and well distributed rainfall throughout the year. The plant needs rainfall more than 200 centimeters. Now let us come to soil. The plant requires alluvial and laterite soil. It is grown in plantations and is an important industrial raw material. India ranks 5th among the world's rubber production. The state of Kerala is the largest producer of rubber in India. Kerala accounts for about 91% of the total area under rubber plantation. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and the Andaman Nicobar Islands, including the Garo Hills of Himalaya, are the other producers. Now we come to the fiber crops. In this segment, we will be dealing with two of the important fiber, that is cotton and jute. Let us come first to cotton. Cotton is indigenous to India and cultivated to obtain fiber, which is one of the major raw materials for cotton textile industry. India is the third largest producer of cotton in the world. Cotton grows well in drier parts. Let us come to temperature that is required for the growth of cotton. India needs a warm climate summer temperature of 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius, and abundant sunshine is necessary during the growth of the plant. A long growing period of at least 210 frost-free days is also necessary for the plants to mature. Now we come to rainfall. Moderate to light rainfall is adequate for cotton cultivation. Rainfall ranging between 50 cm to 80 cm is adequate. The crop can be successfully grown in areas of low rainfall with the help of proper irrigation system. Now we come to soil. Cotton can be grown on a variety of soils, but the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau, which has the ability to retain moisture, is most suitable. It grows well in alluvial soil of the Satluj Ganga plain. The leading cotton producing states are Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh. Punjab and Haryana grows a long staple variety. Jute. Now we come to second segment of fiber, that is jute. Jute is called golden fiber. It grows well on drained fertile soils of the floodplains where the soil is renewed every year. High temperatures required during the time of growth. It grows well on well-drained fertile soils in the floodplains. Therefore, it is grown in Bengal, that is West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya. The fiber is very rough. It is used for making gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpet and other artifacts. Due to the high cost, it is now losing the market to synthetic fiber and packing materials, particularly the nylon. Now let us come to silk. See, though it is not made from a crop, but is obtained from cocoons of silkworms fed on mulberry leaves. Rearing of silkworm for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. Come to the technological institutional reforms. Agriculture was given the top priority in 5-year plans. Various steps have been taken by the government for the institutional technological reform for increasing production and productivity in agriculture sector. Among technological reforms, major initiatives that were made by the government are promotion of green revolution, white revolution, etc., providing of high variety yielding seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, etc., promotion of drip irrigation and other irrigation techniques for better production, power supply for irrigation, etc. Several schemes for irrigation were undertaken and arid and semi-arid areas were brought under cultivation. Apart from this, various institutional reforms were also initiated by the government, like collectivization, consolidation of holding, abolition of zamindari system, etc. were given top priority to bring about institutional reforms in the country after independence. Crop insurance scheme was launched by the government to protect the farmers against losses caused by crop failure on account of natural calamities like drought, flood, hailstorms, cyclone, fire, etc. Easy availability of capital and investment input through a well-knit network of rural banking and small-scale cooperative societies with low interest rates were often facilities provided to the farmers for the modernization of agriculture. Minimum support price for remuneration and procurement of a surplus crop in production from market exploitation. Establishment of advanced research institution for further progress, that is Indian Council of Agricultural Research ICAR, Agriculture Universities, Meteorological Research Unit, Agriculture Specific Satellite Launch, etc. were initiated by the government. Let us come to next segment, that is impact of globalization on agriculture. Globalization has allowed agricultural production to grow much faster than the past. The farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. Today, Indian agriculture finds itself at the crossroads. To make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the conditions of marginal and small farmers. Despite being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. If India changes its cropping pattern, example from cereal to high value crops, this will increase income and reduce environmental degradation. Because fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables need much less irrigation than rice and sugarcane, India's diverse nature of climate can be harnessed to grow wide variety and range of high value crops. Now we come to the map work. On the political map of India, locate and mark the following. See, first thing you have to identify, that is major areas of rice and wheat. In the rice, the major areas are Orissa, West Bengal, Bihar, and in wheat, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh. Then we also have to locate and mark the largest or major producers of sugarcane, tea, coffee, rubber, cotton and jute. In sugarcane, the two areas that can be marked is Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, tea Assam and West Bengal, coffee Karnataka and Kerala, rubber Kerala and Tamil Nadu, cotton Maharashtra and Gujarat, jute West Bengal and Bihar. we have come to the end of the lesson, now I am giving you some revision questions. The first question is name them. First, the two staple food crops of India. Second, this is summer cropping season of India. Third, it is a coarse grain. Fourth, two important beverage crops in India. Fifth, one of the major fiber grown on black soil. Second one we have is multiple choice questions. The first, which of the following describe a system of agriculture where a single crop is grown on a large area? You have been given four options. The first option is shifting agriculture, plantation agriculture, horticulture, intensive agriculture. Second question, which of the following is a rabi crop? Again four options are given: rice, gram, millets, cotton. Third, which of the following is a leguminous crops? Pulses, jawar, millets, sesame. Then fourth is match the column. You have been given fruits and growing region, you have to match them. In the fruits you have orange, pineapple, apricot, lychee. Growing region we have Bihar, Meghalaya, Himachal Pradesh, Nagpur. Now let us come to question answers. Which crops provide raw material for jaggery and molasses? Name the variety of coffee grown in India but initially was brought from Yemen. Which state is the largest producer state of a crop which is also known as finger millet? Now we have two true and false. First, rice is grown in delta region because of favorite climate. Second one we have is maize is used as both food and fodder. Now ninth question, describe the geographical conditions required for the cultivation of rice, wheat and tea. 10th, name the cropping pattern followed in India. 11th, what is plantation agriculture? Describe any two characteristics of it. 12. Which crop is known as golden fiber? Describe the use of this fiber. 13. Name any three features of Indian agriculture. Describe the various technological institution reforms initiated by the government in agriculture. 15th, differentiate between commercial agriculture and subsistence agriculture. 16th, distinguish between Rabi and Kharif crops. And the last question, 17th, name the state which are leading producer of the following, that is jawar, sugarcane, groundnut, tea, rubber, cotton. That's all for today, student. We have finished the lesson. I have given you the map work. At the same time, I have also given you the revision question that includes objective short questions at the same time. So you have to do these questions in your as an assignment.